It's Leafs Talk. JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. These are getting a little too familiar, buddy.
Hey, man. Feels like we just did this. How are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah, well, I just mean this is getting too familiar. Leafs blowing leads,
Yeah.
and this one back to back, third period blown leads.
Yeah. What time do they get to the arena tonight? 10 to 6.
Yeah,
They're stuck in an airport. They're coming back from vacation here. They're in a nightmare trip. They're stuck in the airport. They can't get off the ground. There's, how long does this game get postponed? Almost an hour. There's questions if
mm-hmm.
the game's even going to get played tonight. Like it's a precarious situation. And then the Leafs have every excuse in the world to just, beat up on a team that's coming in quiet. You see the reaction on the bench after they win that game. And it's just, again, they blow a lead, a no-show from their stars, and it's another loss. Regulation, no loser points all weekend. The standings are getting a little more grim as we go along here, bud.
Well, not to be too dad jokey, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow the Leafs showed up later than the Red Wings. Like all day, these guys are rotting in an airport. The Leafs get 3 power plays to start the game. 3. And I think between the 3 power plays to start the game, they got 1 high danger opportunity. I think they ended up with 3 shots combined on those power plays. Just completely lifeless performance in the first period. Now, to their credit, right? Like, let me give the credit, because God knows that most of the fan base is probably just going to be calling for Sheldon Keefe's head, and there's going to be a lot of looking the other way on all the guys who make the 13 percenters. The 13 percenters are how are they to be blamed? They played yesterday, for God's sakes, and it's hard on those guys. It's really hard on those guys. This is all Sheldon Keefe's fault. So they clamped down, I thought, in front of Samsonov in the second period, and I think Detroit finished the first with 10 shots, maybe 10 shots. And then the rest of the way until Liljegren turnover at the end of the game, where just a breakdown, Detroit finds a way, puts it in the back of the net right after a beautiful Samsonov save. Toronto really did play, I thought, like a well-checked, tight hockey game, a little bit more defensively responsible. But yeah, it's hard to overlook the start, dude. Like, you had a chance to just bury these guys. You had an opportunity to just put them to sleep. Just put the Red Wings to sleep, and you came out even flatter. And that's to me kind of the story of the game.
Yeah, they were brutal in the first period. I don't know why that's the way they looked. They just, going back to I don't know how many years ago it was that Sheldon Keefe said soft and purposeless, but that's how they played the first period. It's just there was nothing there. And like we've laid out here, that team's flying in at 10 minutes before this game, and there's just no excuse to not put 3 in the net. You got James Reimer in there. What was the number that Simmer said on the broadcast? Was it 17 in his last 3 starts? What was the number that I don't even know what it was. It was crazy, the number that he said. And you can't find a way to get one past him. The power play looks horrible. Keefe is changing up all these lines to try and light a fire under them. It doesn't work for the first period. This to me is a game where a team that's undermanned, where they had every excuse to quit, just kept building in belief because the game was close. And then they took kind of, towards the end of the game, they get a lucky break and they score. This game should have been 4-0 after the first period, and they just couldn't find a way to get one past Reimer.
Dude, look at Detroit's reaction on the bench to end the game.
I mean, it cared. They cared. It mattered so much. They obviously had a really crappy day leading up to today.
Yep.
It's clear that they were very, very, very excited. And like all their goals, the celebrations, like Larkins, when he scored that first goal, the celebration by him, it's like, whoa, like what's going on here? And then you see him on the bench. It's like, they had a bad day. These guys had a bad day, and they were extremely happy to win, and the Leafs should be embarrassed they lost. That's what it comes down
to. This is one everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
Like, how many things on planet Earth are more draining than when you're waiting for a flight to take off?
Nothing.
You're completely powerless, and you've got nothing other than an uncomfortable seat and staring at your phone. And then going up and looking and trying to see if the monitor is going to tell you something different. Like it is draining. It's a horrible feeling to be stuck in an airport.
That's why all the media members tweet about it when it happens. It's like, I got time to tweet. Air Canada.
Yeah.
You did it, Air Canada. You did it again. Beep,
Yeah,
beep,
you did
boop.
it again.
Beep, beep,
Yeah,
beep, boop.
the poor journos and the flights. It's a hard life. It's a hard life for the
Pray
boys.
for them.
Um, I just I'm kind of at a loss on this show, dude. I don't even know what to say. Like
I
there's a nice performance by Samsonov mixed in there. I love that the crowd
nice,
gave him a Bronx. What?
nice. Like, yeah, 2 good saves. And like, I
Yeah.
mean, he had what was he ended up with? 22 saves. Like, they hit him
Well,
in the chest for the rest of the night. He made 2 really nice saves, which is good. It's
yeah.
definitely progress, but I'm not going to go as far as to say nice. Like,
Um,
it's not the reason they lost, but it's
I think it was nice, all things considered. If you would have told me Samsonov was going to face 23 shots or 26 shots, I would have been like, yeah, they gave up 6. He gave up 6 goals the way that he had been playing. It was a controversial start and it didn't backfire on them. And I will say that those 2 saves were really nice. Those are 2 really, really nice saves. And
for sure.
for him to just kind of come in there and battle and look competent, I thought is a really nice step forward for him in order to find his
Progress.
game. Like that save's
Progress.
brilliant.
Progress.
What? Yeah, progress.
Progress.
I think that's what
That's
you're
it.
looking for. I'm not going to try to say that anything has changed with Samsonov. Like the very next game that you're going to, what happened when they faced Nashville? They put him in, he gets a shutout, and then the very next game it goes into the tank. So credit to the Leafs for playing a tight game in front of him, knowing who was in net and not letting him get shelled. Credit to Samsonov for playing some competent hockey and making a couple of big saves, not allowing a stinker of a goal, right? Like you'd agree. None of the 3 goals against him were awful.
Third one, he's sliding the wrong way or whatever, but I mean, it's not terrible.
It's a bad turnover behind their own net where they get caught watching, and it's a nice play.
Absolutely. But he's.
But I thought it was hilarious that the crowd gave him the Bronx cheer, and then I thought it was even funnier that I tweeted about it.
Was a Bronx cheer?
Yes, I can't believe this take from people being like, it's a supportive cheer.
I did. I actually.
No.
The tone of it to me.
No.
Was a little bit more supportive than a normal Bronx cheer. Like it was to me, it was. I'm with whoever you think is dumb. I didn't think it was bad.
Hey, I'm not trying to be too hyperbolic.
Yeah.
I think whoever thinks that Bronx cheer is a fun cheer supporting is actually the dumbest people on planet Earth and know nothing about sports. So congrats for you revealing yourself. The idea that you think that the crowd was going after he made a chest save. Hey, way to go. You did it. Like in any reality,
they're trying to support the guy. They know
that's crazy. The Sammy chant was kind of funny too later in the game because he made the great save and they tried to get it going. But most of the crowd was like, yeah, we're not doing this. We'll give him a little. That's all right. But we're not going over the top here. This isn't Rocky, He made one good save. Like to your point, the game by him wasn't brilliant. It was an awesome save. He deserves some love for it. But I was glad that it didn't get way too over the top. And then, of course, it ends up in the back of their net immediately after, which I thought was just perfect.
So I sent a snarky tweet before we started, and boy, it's getting a lot of people mad. But William Nylander in his 3 non-Sharks games since the $92 million extension, 0 points and a -1.
I'd like to get paid after Sharks games.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody would like to get paid after Sharks games.
Stars have been bad in big games here for a couple. Marner has his 600th point tonight, and it was a really good play by Bertuzzi to put it on his stick or whatever, so he gets a point. Matthews, couple down ones here from him in a row. Didn't think he wasn't very good against who they played last night. Avalanche was -3. Didn't think he was particularly good again here tonight. Just shows you what this team is, right? Stars aren't going, they don't win. And I thought, I give credit to Keefe for trying to do the super blow up of the lines and try different stuff, but it's pretty clear what this is. And it's like we've been talking about this for however many years now. When these guys go into ruts, it's the team goes in a rut. So not pretty from the Stars again, buddy.
No, and it's getting late early here. We're halfway through the season now.
For sure. No question.
We're halfway through the season, and it's feeling pretty same old Maple Leafs, right? Like what makes you feel really different about this team right now? This is just it. The Stars that everyone loves to praise with just, full. It's full praise all the time when they're playing well. And then when things go poorly, it's Sheldon Keefe's fault, or it's the goaltender's fault, or it's the blue line's not good enough for these guys, or it's a million different excuses. But I'm with you. Like, this stretch to me has been really, really lackluster. These 3 games from those 4, I will say 4 guys, because I think Riley has actually been mostly fine.
Matthew scored twice against the Isles, so I'm not going to give him too much of a problem for that one.
I thought he turned it up in the 3rd period tonight, but it's like, okay, awesome. He had a couple good shifts late in the 3rd. Is that what is that the bar for a superstar of that caliber?
So I mentioned Marner get his 600th point. I want to give credit to our boy Nick Richard for an excellent tweet tonight. He says, hometown boy becomes the fastest to reach 600 points in Leafs franchise history after being nominated for the Selke the year prior. Surely he is beloved in Toronto. It's good.
It is weird.
Man. It's true. No, it's not. It's not.
No,
weird.
It's weird. This element of it is that it's weird that he's so much less popular than the other 2.
For sure. He is. He has his fans, his diehard fans who are like a sect of Leafs Nation. And it's crazy that it's just like they've painted ourselves into these corners. But it is crazy. He's the fastest to 600 points in Leafs history. And everybody whines about him all the time, myself included. It's it's an eye-opening stat. That's a huge number. 600 already.
Yep.
Care to say anything good? Care to say anything good, buddy?
I don't have good things to say right now. It's so funny too. Sometimes we'll get criticized for the show where someone will go, "It's just a game." That's my least favorite criticism, right? Is they'll go, "It's just one game," and like, this is what this show is. It's breaking down game by game. So sometimes when we have to do the larger picture credit time, and especially in moments like this where they lost to a Detroit team that was begging to lose. The Leafs played last night. They should have showed up with their hair on fire after that embarrassment. Their head coach went to the media and said that the other team stars were brilliant and above the NHL caliber, and that those guys weren't going. He called William Nylander out by name and said he had to put him up on the top line because he was going so poorly. He basically did the episode we did of Leafs Talk, but at a podium.
I think he went into the coach's room and watched Leafs Talk and then went out and did his thing. He's like, God, those idiots are making good points. I gotta go.
Those 2 handsome sons of a guns are making a lot of great points. And then they came out tonight and you thought, yo, they broke up the lines.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to come out.
Hair on fire.
I thought this was going to be William Nylander from the beginning of the season, Nylander tonight for sure. Like, dude, you signed that contract. Everybody's making the jokes, the nervous jokes, by the way. It's like you say it and you go, "Hey, Nylander got that big one. Please score a goal." Like, please score a goal. And it was a nothing affair, really. And again, they're playing a little too tight defensively because of who's in net, and they're all getting used to new lines. But I sure didn't feel any type of real passion from the Leafs. I didn't feel like these were a bunch of guys that were embarrassed about what happened the night before and we're not going to stand to lose tonight. And that's the common theme with these guys is it never feels like they hate losing.
Yep. Bang on. Just went on while you were talking there, went to my other window and searched Keefe into x.com or Twitter, whatever you want to call it.com.
I'm sure it's just fire Keefe all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
I
listen, they can fire him. I don't. Yeah. His seat is definitely getting hotter. And I wouldn't even mind it if they did it to him because I've never really been a huge Sheldon Keefe defender. But what I will say is it is kind of funny that he calls them out in the media. He says what everybody's thinking, and then he blends the lines the way that everybody wants him to do it.
Yep.
And then the players come out and they drop the ball. And it's everybody on X, Twitter, whatever, saying fire the coach. Just and you wonder why these guys don't play with any fire or passion, right? It's like, well, did we do bad? Did we play bad? Like, no, it's the coach's fault. You guys don't worry about it. It's Sheldon Keefe's fault. He made you guys play on different lines with different players. How could you ever be expected to perform under these horrific circumstances? Let's get rid of them. Let's bring in somebody else. And again, the question is, who is the somebody else?
It's Berube.
Who's the person that people want to bring in here?
It's Berube.
Berube?
To me, it's Berube. It's like the guy, like the total change up guy comes in here, like just, comes in here, lights the room on fire kind of guy. That's it. And I'm not saying do it, but I'm just saying it's a popular take tonight. And it's been getting warmer here, and they're losing games against teams that are supposed to be in there sort of like, what are the Red Wings? 1 point back of them now? The Red Wings are not great. The Leafs are just like heading towards Midsville big time here. So either they are
heading
Midsville,
towards.
Not heading towards, have arrived at the station in Grand Central Midsville here. Like they are there.
It's the middle of the season, and the middling team is in the middle. Like that's what they do.
You think they're mid or you don't think they're mid. And you make a decision about the coaching and everything else because of that. So, like, are we sure are you like looking at this team right now? Are you sure you want to like trade all the little assets they have to improve this team? Like, is this team it? I don't know.
No.
It's a big question for me.
I think that I've maintained this position all along.
Mm-hmm.
There's a real 2020 feel to this team to me.
For
where sure. you push it all the way to the deadline, and then you see where you're at. Yeah, you're not making a big move ahead of time, and you're going to kind of see if this team can show you something. And have they had some adversity in net? Sure. Do they have a blue line that had a bunch of injuries? Yep. And it actually kind of proved out to be a decent thing in the long run, because it showed up a lot of their depth, and some of Tree Living's better moves happened to be getting some of those depth players. Mm-hmm. Have they had ideal performances from the Bertuzzis? Again, pretty played tonight. I thought he came out with a bunch of juice and then faded as the game went on. Has Tavares looked old lately, by the way? Like, quite. Tavares looks like, they used to say he hit the rookie wall, and Tavares has hit some kind of wall. Go look at his point production in the last 20 games. It ain't pretty. It really isn't.
Here's what I'll say about Tavares. And like I'm just looking at his game log here. Sam Mitchell, since the San Jose game, didn't get a cookie in that. He's got 2 points. Yeah, it's not pretty. It's really not pretty. -2 tonight, -2 against Colorado, -1 against New York. I think he does kind of go into these throughout the year where he goes through dips. But the thing I've noticed over the years, the dips get longer and darker. That's what it is, right? As he gets older, where it's like when the production's not there, the dips really, really show. So he's going through a tough one tonight. What did he even play tonight? Felt like he was not out there a lot. And that part of what they did with the line change, I'm just looking at his time on ice tonight.
It was pretty noteworthy that he got bumped down to what the third line was.
17:41 tonight for him. Like with plus the power play time, which they were out there. They had 3 power plays. Like that is third line duty plus power play. He basically was the third line tonight. And they put him with Robertson and Yarncroc. And I guess I thought Robertson had a bit of pop tonight. Thought he looked better than he has in games past, which is nice. Maybe they can trick somebody into taking him for something. But it's not pretty right now, buddy. It's not pretty. And they're heading out on a road trip where they're playing lots of the best teams in the league. They're playing Edmonton Tuesday, has won 10 hockey games in a row. Going to Calgary, then they're playing against the Vancouver Canucks, then the Seattle Kraken, then double down on the Jets. But it's be looking at it out of a playoff spot here pretty quick. So,
yeah.
and at some point you have to figure out what the move is to make, because I think there's way too much expectation, way too much money, way too much everything tied into this situation, and you have to decide what the move you're going to make is, and that's what it comes down to. This next week is a very important one for the coach. Let's say that.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind it. I really, to me,
buddy, I'm not a Dumbo.
No, I'm with you. No, but
it is clearly flaws with the team.
Yeah, no. But I'm just saying that smart people are criticizing the coach to me now.
For sure.
Like former players, like me, some of the guys in my texting circles.
By the way, nice call on Samsonov there, JD Wojnarowski. Called it.
That's right.
Way to go there. Okay.
In the biz, but
JD
educated people who are far more educated than myself have been really hypercritical of Keefe to me recently. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying he's completely absolved of any critiques here. And I think that at this point, if the team does dip out of a playoff spot, you can't fire the players, and Lord knows they wouldn't anyways, because they were like, oh, Nylander, you had half a good season, like here's everything. Sure, no move clause, you got it. All the way through, you got it, baby. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about a damn thing. All the money up front, you got it. Whatever you want. It's not going to happen for any players. I don't think that they're going to make some drastic trade, and I don't think that they're going to make one that's going to try to markedly improve the roster. You got one move to make, and that's fire the coach. So I don't mind it if they do it. I just the problems I'm seeing right now don't look like a bunch of guys who aren't motivated by the coach. And I don't think that the issues that some of these players have are, oh, well, their coach isn't getting the most out of them. Like it's too hard of a sell. Anyways, rapid fire time. Morgan Rielly finally gets his first penalty.
And we didn't even do it.
Yep. Correct.
He was innocent. He was innocent.
Yeah, he is innocent. So it's the weirdest streak I actually kind of cared about, because normally a streak like that, I would be, I don't know. I guess maybe I just like Morgan Rielly so much, because normally I would think, wow, you don't have a penalty. It's January, soft, you know? And with Morgan Rielly, I was genuinely impressed by the streak, and I felt bad for him that William Nylander robbed him of his streak.
With a lazy behind the back penalty where he just quit skating and hooked the guy. Anyways, yeah, good on Rielly for keeping it going, and he's innocent. They should switch that. Can they do that? Can they review it?
No.
Put under protest. Be the Gibby. Draw the P.
Yeah. Really nice save by Simon Benoit in this game.
Awesome.
That was just a heady play, and I swear, if I had to bet my life on a guy to like bat a puck out of the defensive zone, this is something that he does. Like, he's got good hand-eye, man, for a big man that came in here and we called, Benny the Butcher. He sees it, good hand-eye coordination there. That's a really nice play. That's a calm play. That's a good play.
No panic. And then he rushed the puck up the ice after this. He was buzzing. He was buzzing after it. He was going up the ice. I love this guy. Love him.
Me too.
He's a guy cares. He's just, that's where we're at here. It's like we watch these four guys who make all this money play quiet and soft through these games. And I have an uncle. I'm like, oh my God. Like the guy who makes $750 and cares. What a treat. Like,
what a delight.
Sad.
You know what? I did think that with Holmberg though, because that's actually the one, a non-rapid fire topic I had is he was awesome tonight. And I love it. This is always the mark of a guy who played well to me, is when you think his ice time is more than it is. And with Holmberg, it was tonight? Yeah, he didn't play too much, but you really felt his presence. And one theory I had for you is, they're talking about it during the broadcast about how, hey, this dude got told by the coach at the beginning of the year that he was disappointed in his play, and he thought that he was expecting a little bit more coming into training camp, and they didn't bring him up. And it seems to have lit a fire under him. He's not just a perimeter player. This Pontus Holmberg actually looks a little bit more physical, a little bit more engaged than the guy that we saw during his last stint in Toronto. And you and I at one point were very big Pontus believers, really big Pontus fans, but that did tend to fade away. I think the challenge for Holmberg this time around is going to be, hey, can you maintain this? Is this who you are, or is this just who you are for the first couple of weeks when you get the promotion? And then once things get settled, you start to turn into a guy that is less noticeable, but a really good performance for him. So good on Pontus Holmberg.
Yeah, he, you got beat out by a 19-year-old in I call it spring training, in training camp. You probably should have a fire lit under you. You should probably be pretty upset about Fraser Mitten beating you.
Agree.
So yeah.
Any other rapid fire topics for you?
My parents were at the game tonight. And feel bad for them. The guy they missed, they had to watch that loss. They were delayed an hour. They're getting old. Can't have that. It's almost 11 o'clock. They're not home yet. They're getting a little old for that. So they'll be so pissed when they hear this. But yeah.
I was gonna say this is not the message that they want.
Tough L for Marianne and Andy. Sorry guys. It's my dad's birthday tomorrow, so we're going out for breakfast. But tough one there, guys. Sorry.
Well, according to you, since they're so old and so tired, they were probably kind of sneaky happy there wasn't overtime.
I'll get the breakdown from them about if that cheer was a happy one or a mad one. I'll get AMAC steak. Happy
cheer. Happy Bronx cheer for the first time in sports to the goalie that everybody didn't believe in. Yeah, no, good take by you guys. Internet.
They're a supportive crowd.
Anyways, you know what that is? That's literally, there was probably one person there that did that. It's like, it's The Simpsons. I was saying Boo Hearns. Like that's,
Yeah.
that's you in this situation, Mole Man. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe on the podcast, Spotify and Apple. Follow at JD Bunkis, at Sam McKee, Twitter and on Instagram. And we will see you Tuesday night.